against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Cause baby, I feel real good and I wish I would. Watch out now. It's gotta be against the law to look this damn good. Watch out now. Everybody watch out. Watch out now. I'm ready for a good time, and I came to groove. The whole band's here, and we came to move. Got a fresh haircut and 2 new shoes. We're here all night like we got nothing to lose. I'm coming out the jacket, cause we're turning up the heat. I wanna see you clapping when you get up out your seat. It's time to make it happen when we hit these streets. I'm coming in hot, and I can't be beat. Watch out now.
All right. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to another Chuck Levin's Live. I'm Adam Levin, and today I have the infamous Miles McCool.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Coolest guy in the store, Miles McCool from the keyboard department. With me today, we got a cool one today. We're talking with Yamaha. But before we get into that, just a little state of the union as we normally do, just to update you on the situation as it's happening here at Chuck Levin's. It's closing time, so you might see some lights turn off around me. People kind of might wander around, which is why I'm wearing my mask right now, which brings me to my first point. We're still in the midst of a pandemic, in case you didn't know. So we are all wearing our masks in the store at all times, and we are limiting the number of customers that we can have come into the store. But other than that, we're pretty much fully functional. So all the shops are open. Every department is open. You can come, you can jam, you can try things out, have a good time, get back in here, get on that gear and have a good time. So if you have any questions at all, if you feel uncomfortable, you want to talk to someone, give us a call. Happy to talk you through it. We're also happy to help you on curbside, or as we normally do, we love to talk to you on the phone. So don't be afraid. Don't be don't be shy. We're here. We're ready to rock. The full team is back and ready to go. But Miles, where you at, Miles?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going,
How you
Miles?
guys doing today?
Miles has been one of the best observers of this live stream over the last, I think, 14 weeks now, which is pretty crazy that we've been doing it this long. So glad to have you on, Miles. Miles, tell everyone a little bit about, how long you've been here, what you do, who you are.
Well, I started in November 2017. I basically came here every single day to make myself known, and just wanted to really get into the keyboard section because I've been playing pianos all my life. And I finally got hired, and it's been such an amazing almost 3 years now that I've been with Chuck's, and I enjoy every day more than the last. Get to learn a whole bunch about new equipment, get to see all the new fun things coming in, get to hear all of the crazy sounds that our customers find and concoct. It's definitely been a wonderful journey for me.
That's awesome. And we love having you part of the fam. And this is going to be a good one. I think this is going to be one of our first keyboard related ones. We've done some synths, but this is really a monster. So today, we got the Montage. We're talking about the Yamaha Montage, which in our world, start coming from Motif all the way through. This is it. This is the flagship. This is the top of the line. If you want something that sounds this way, at this level, everyone always asks for Motif. That really, made the name and kind of situated itself in this world. And here we find ourselves in 2020 with Montage, and I think we've got a really cool one. So I think without any more delay, let's do this thing.
Yeah,
let's bring in Blake and let's dive into the Montage, because this thing goes deep.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Not too bad. I am just great over here in Bellingham, Washington. I'm clear over in the West Coast. You guys are over in DC, so yeah, here I am. You made a good point, by the way, when you talked about Motif and the lineage. I just want to point out, and I'll give you a little bit of some overhead view of me in the Montage here. But you made a really good point when you said, Motif. Well, every single sound that's from the Motif XF is in the Montage. All of the voices appear as single part performances, is what we call them. And all of the performances actually from the Motif XF are in here as well. They just sound way better, and there's a lot more you can do with them inside the instrument. So I just wanted to point that out for everybody, because I know you guys were really big Montage enthusiasts out there in DC and at Chuck Levin's, and just to let you know, just wanted to throw that out there.
Big time. And what I think is really cool is that you guys have the family of products that all kind of share the motif, lineage and guts of it, which I think we'll probably dive into. But before we get too deep into anything, as usual, we got a cool giveaway for all of you out there. If you are watching, tag your friends, tag a keyboard player. For this one, just tag any musician. We're giving away 2 sets of Yamaha HPH MT7 headphones. These are phenomenal. Incredible sounding headphones, comfortable, smooth, flat, and free if you're watching today. So tag your friends, tag a musician, tag a synth player, tag a keyboard player, tag a piano player. Enter to win. And guys, if you're watching out there, guys and girls, we love questions. Blake is a real pro and Miles knows everything inside and out. I'm just here to kind of wave and say hi. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments. We have a team of guys watching behind the scenes. If you got good questions, we'll throw them in and let Blake and the folks from Yamaha answer those questions for you. So don't be shy. Ask anything that you might want to wonder about the Montage or like the Yamaha synth line, all the way from motif to Montage. But after that, Blake, take it away.
Cool. Well, I guess, sorry, something just fell in here.
That's how you know it's live. That's how you know
it's live. Wow. Anyway, I'll go ahead and start out with a little tune for a few minutes here. I will point out a few things about this tune. This tune's kind of like a drum and bassy kind of, I don't know, ska-y reggae thing. I don't know. But I did all the sequencing in here I did in the sequencer of the Montage. We just added some really cool updates to the sequencer in OS 3.5. I want to say that first. Second of all, before I start playing here, everything you see here is relevant to the Modi X, the midline synth as well. So all the stuff that you see me do with Smart Morph, as you see, and with any of the sequence operations, you can do this on the Modi X as well. So that's all I wanted to say. And now I'm going to play a song I like to call Mr. Balloon Hands. If anybody knows what that's in reference to. It's kind of the analog fade out there.
Wow, that was
Easy to do it.
pretty awesome.
Well, thanks. Hey, yeah, I just sort of threw that little thing together inside this pattern sequencer.
It had some Joe Zawinul vibes there.
Oh boy, I wish I could I wish I could play as well as Joe did, but thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, what'd you hear? Well, I want to point out a few things here. This is our live set that you're seeing here. Here, let me get a nice tight shot on this with Mr. Camera. And see if I can't focus in on that a little bit more. And I mean right there. And then autofocus out. So this is what we call a live set right here. And what the live set allows you to do is it's a collection of up to 16 performances. So we have preset live sets, and this is a user live set. Well, this is the user live set that I selected here. It's a little hard to see in here, but you'll see it says pattern, and right next to that, it's a little whited out there. I won't mess with the contrast, but it says chain. Okay, so this is something that we added to this OS, is the ability to, you can save a performance, but you can save a performance with the associated pattern or pattern chain now. So it's really great for gigs. If you're playing maybe a gig where you are using a pattern on the gig, well, all I have to do is call that up in the live set, and it will bring up the exact, tune, which is here, right here. I turn it all the way down. So this is a pattern chain that I created in here. I'll take off the pattern chain here. All that a chain is just a pre-selected order of how it plays back. So and then this is the with the chain off, I can select these scenes here, and they're different parts of the groove. Like an intro, ending, or from here to the drum and bass part thing, and then here's the little trippy thing, right? And then I create them and put them into a chain, which is right down here. See, if I turn it on, you'll see it switch over to the pattern chain. Then I can set it up to play in linear order. I just wanted to point out what they just heard in here. And this is a performance again. Performances can do a lot of things. This one happens to be sort of a multi-part performance where you have Anything that has that keyboard control light on right in the middle there is the only sound that's playing. Now, if I select one of my other things in here, scenes is what I'm selecting. When I select a scene, it turns on keyboard control. So now I have these two lead sounds that are tuned in fours. And then at the very end here, I actually had, I had a guitar sound. But here I also have, now I've kind of combined them all together. That's that keyboard control that I can save in a scene of a song like this. Really cool. It's very well thought out, and it's just one way that you can use this instrument is as a multi-timbral pattern-based playback, instrument. Pretty cool. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of briefly talk about that right there, pattern chain. See it? So that's one of the things. I'll come back to the sequencer in a second. What I want to really talk about is some of the new cool things that we added to. The biggest one is definitely what's called Smart Morph. Smart Morph is specific to the FM engine of the Montage and Modi X. So the engine on these instruments, one of them is called AWM2. This is a sample-based subtractive synthesizer engine. Pianos, strings, things like that, you'll find those in that AWM content. Well, the other engine that we have in here is called FMX. FMX is our newest version of FM synthesis. It's an 8-operator, 88 algorithm FM synthesizer engine that, in and of itself, it's a great synth engine, but this Smart Morph thing takes FM to an entirely different level. What it does is it takes parts, generally parts 9 through 16, and you load them in right inside this window here, and using a machine learning program that's been added to this, it takes a look at all the sounds and it creates this cool composite of the sounds that you morph together, and then it puts them on this map in here. So first thing I'll do is I'll just play some of these sounds because they're really cool. They really have this very interesting synthesizer-y, I don't even know how to explain it. They're just really cool. So best to just let you hear it. Now check this out. We have this Smart Morph pad that's right here that I can move across and do these cool little morphing sounds between the parts that have been selected here. So you can come up with all these great variations pretty quickly. Now let's say when I'm in here and I like something like this one here. Let's say I like that sound there. All I have to do is save it, and it'll save the sound at that point. So it's a really cool way to create new sounds as well. Let me grab a few of these other ones in here. Here's one I like that's called Interstella. Now, totally different sound with this guy here. So you find these really cool sweet spots in here.
I agree with Charlie. This is so cool.
Now, if I like this, again, all I have to do is hit store. Boom, I can save it as a new performance. I'll call it Interstella 2. So now I have a new sound that I just created using that. Really easy to, you don't have to know a lot about FM synthesis to come up with interesting new sounds. So here's my Interstella 2. If I go here and I grab something here. See, I like that one right there. I'll just go ahead and save that one too. Oops, not overwrite it, but I'll save it as a new performance, and we'll call it Interstella 3. It's like this instantaneous FM creation. And then, I'll go through and I'll show you how you can make these as well. Right now, I'll just kind of play through some of them, and then we'll get to one where we can really do some just create one on the fly for you. Okay, so this one's an interesting one. Because we have 8 parts in the performance, let me take a look here. Okay, so these 8 parts here, I can have under keyboard control. So you can play up to 8 parts simultaneously. Now, only part 1 is the result of the smart morph that's being created. And this will come all clear pretty quick here. These sounds here are what's being used in the smart morph, 9 through 16 parts, 9 through 16. Those are single parts that I'm using to create the smart morph. And then the result of the algorithm is put into part 1 up here, okay? So the thing that's cool about Smart Morph is that you also have these additional 7 parts that you can just add and do different things with. With this one has 2 different pad sounds that aren't part of the Smart Morph, but they just sort of are stacked in there as a pad underneath this cool lead sound, but you still have the cool Smart Morph in this third view right here. If I muted out these 2 parts here, just touch these guys, now you're just hearing just the Smart Morph. So you can hear what part of the sound. But then if I add these 2 parts in here, really cool, interesting textural stuff. It's just, I love this Hydrodrone one. This is one that was created by Richard Devine, who's a sound designer and electronic music artist that does some programming for us. And you should watch, if you ever get a chance, go up to YamahaSynth.com, and if you search for Richard Devine, you'll find the podcast that we did with him, where we talked to him specifically about Smart Morph. It's really interesting, and he's really got a lot of cool things to say about how just, as a sound designer, how deep and cool and inspiring this is. So, and this is one of his sounds. This one's cool because it really changes texture quite a lot. If I go to this one right here, totally different sound. We're up here. So, Smart Morph. Let me show you how you create a Smart Morph here. So what I did here is inside the category search of a Montage. Montage, by the way, if you haven't seen Montage, it's really cool how it works. Category search is one of the coolest parts of Montage in a lot of ways, because if you're new to Montage and you just want to find pianos, it's easy to find them right here in this category search area. But let's say you're really into synthesis, and all I want to see in here, I'll grab this attribute right here that says FMX. So now all I'm seeing is just FMX sounds. Or if I want to find just single parts, I want to find just the Motif XF stuff. There it is right here. Let me take off. These are all of the performances from the Motif XF. So this is the category search area. Now, what I did was I went over to this, let me look at everything in here. This place that says initialize, and I selected this sound here that's called init FMX. So what this is just literally an initialized FMX sound with only one operator. So you hear just a sine wave. And why I did this is because there are no effects in here. All you're going to hear is the Smart Morph, okay? And I'll show you how to create a Smart Morph. So I'm going to touch this new tab that was added in 3.5 called Smart Morph. And you see these parts in here, 9 through 16. Let's build a Smart Morph with 4 parts. So I just touch on that part 9 and it drops me into a category search here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to select single parts. All the ones that are in green are single parts. So I'll select one like FM Bell Square Pad. So here's the sound that I'm going to use for my smart morph, one of the sounds. Now we'll do a second sound. And this one, how about we do something, maybe some sort of a string sounds? How about just strings one? Now these are all FMX sounds that it's pulling from again. So it's FM with no effects though. It's important to understand that. I haven't added any effects. By the way, as a side note, the effects processor in this instrument is amazing. Every single part has 2 insertion effect blocks. It has a system-wide effect, a variation effect. So there's a whole lot you can do. And I haven't even gotten into how you can control everything with motion control. There's so much to cover that I can't cover everything, but let's just stick here with this smart morph here. So strings 1. The next thing I want to do is maybe add, I don't know, how about FM warm brass? Let's hear what that one sounds like. And I'm selecting it directly, so you just hear it. Right? And then the last one, how about we do something that's more of kind of a percussive sound? So I'll go to something like chromatic percussion, and we'll do FM marimba. So now I have these 4 sounds that I've selected. Now what I want to do here is touch this little learn button. Now let me go down here to analyze so you can watch how this happens. Right now I'm just going to say auto coloring. I'll talk about coloring in a bit. But it's going to automatically look at these sounds and select parameters that are relevant to create something interesting by just touching this learn. Now watch what happens. The screen will kind of do its thing here, do its magic thing. And it's running this self-organizing map is what it's called. It's part of machine learning and AI. Okay, so here's the parameters that it chose in that auto mode, and here's my new smart morph.
Well, that was incredibly easy.
It's super easy. Now let's say I was kind of like, I don't, let me try something else. I didn't really like that. It'll run another smart morph and create a variation. It won't be a huge variation because it's using the same source material, but it'll create a different smart morph now. See, the coloring's a little different here. Now, let's talk about the coloring. The coloring really doesn't mean anything. It's sort of like, they needed to name these 3 parameters that it selected something and they chose colors. And it kind of works because you have this cool screen here that also, but here's my new smart morph. Again, now let's take a look. I'm going to go up to edit, and you'll see these little white lines that connect to dots here. So let's take a look at this FM square bell pad. There's that line that comes across, and there's a dot right here in the screen. So what that means is that if I touch right here, and you'll see my blue, the little blue dot touch in there, that's going to be more as close to that sound as possible, FM bell square. So it'll be more like that bell, and it certainly is more like that. Or if I go down here to FM marimba, that's clear up in the corner here, this will be more of that. Or if I go down here to where it says brass and I touch here, now I didn't quite get on it, but because I'm in a little, if I touch right on it, it'll probably be closest. And it certainly is. But notice that if I touch a little bit over from it, now we're in this morphing area. This is a 32 by 32 matrix. So if you do 32 times 32, that's what, 1,024 little dots on here that are all little variations wherever you touch in there. So here's... So let's say you go in here and you find this one here. Or this one. How about I want one that's a little bit more... That's interesting. I like that. I can save it right there. Save, save, save. You can do so much with this. It's just, it's remarkable. Now we have the super knob, right? Now the super knob can be assigned to multiple parameters that can move in different directions. So as one thing opens, another thing can close, and so on. It can be used in the motion control, but in the motion control system, so you can control effects, you can control filters and things like that. But in this case, what I can do is I can turn on a super knob link here, and I can use it to move between any 2 points in here automatically. Why is that cool? Well, you can automate that, and you can record that in a sequence and recall it. That's why that's cool, is to be able to do that, because you can't really do this. This isn't a MIDI control here, so you can't record that but you can record any 2 points in the super knob. So let's say I go right here and I select, let's see, how about we go from here and we'll go down here. So now I have this super knob link on, and you see it. Or let's say I want to, actually what I want to do is I want to put it maybe, how about over here? So it's going to move up on that axis. Again, I haven't even done anything as far as editing. This has started with an initialized voice with just some basic preset single parts. So as I go in there and I start messing with things like effects and adding extra parts and adding drum kits or whatever, I mean, you can do so much with this new cool technology. It's really something new in the world of synthesis, and that's what's really cool about SmartMorph. So, I'll take a quick little, and then I want to talk about some other things in here, like the new sequencer stuff. But I was wondering if there's any questions or anything that we can talk about here, or do you have any questions about it, or before I move on to the next topic?
Do we want to pull up a question?
While we're looking for a question, reminder, giveaway,
Yes.
boom,
Oh.
free one of these. So tag a friend, ask some questions. You know what? We might just give one away to whoever asked the best question. So you never know. So drop some questions in the comments. We got people watching for the best questions out there. We'll throw them in and tag friends in there because that enters you to win. So that's all you need to do.
So I think somebody was asking, assigning super knob to different parameters. I'll show you something cool in here. Let me just think of something that would be kind of fun to just set up a quick little super knob. How about this? A lot of people really do wonder about, what is a super knob thing? So I'll just do something really simple here. Let's say we'll take a piano sound, just a single part. And what I want to do with this sound is I want to create, in this one, the super knob has already been set up here. So in a preset. So what it's doing with the CFX stage piano sound is it's increasing the amount of reverb, but it's also changing the EQ. It's simulating proximity effect, which is pretty cool. It's not just reverb, because as you're close to a source like this, you're sitting right in front of the piano. So there's no, not a lot of reverb, very close mic. But as I move it this way, you'll notice that the low end kind of rolls off a bit. It's a little bit more direct here. So the super knob is controlling not only reverb, it's also controlling EQ, because as you move away from the source, it does change the frequency, right? So what I want to do here, that's I just wanted to explain what was going on there. What I want to do here is I want to add a string part, a single part string part, and what I'll do is I will set the super knob, so as I move it up, it will bring in the string part, something really simple. So let's go in here, we'll find some sort of strings, and we'll just go with single parts here. So I'm in my category search, I select just single parts here and strings, and we want ensemble strings, and let's say we want something like medium haul. That'll be fine. So now I have strings and piano here. So I've selected this part here. Now the part selected, if I select here, I'm selecting the whole performance, right? Select a single part. That's what we're doing first. And I'm going to drop into edit mode. And what I want to do is change the level for that, right? So here's the volume control right here. There's a few ways I can do this. One way, I can just bring it all the way down and start and just do a linear curve or whatever. Well, how about you do that? So now as soon as I select a parameter that can be assigned, and I am tight shot in here, but you can see this light will turn on. Let me pull back just a little bit so you can see it a little bit more what I'm doing. But that means that that's an assignable parameter. So if I select that screen will change, and it'll say select a destination parameter to assign to volume. Well, I'll just move the super knob. It's now been assigned. So now if I turn this down, if I turn it up, see, now I have. So that's a very.
Also on that point, is there a way that you could do smart knob modulation by LFO, so you
Sure.
don't have to be twisting it?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, let me show you just all the parameters that you can assign to this. So what I assigned in this case was a part parameter. So that's a parameter for a single part, so it controls the whole part. When you're talking about LFO, there's part LFO. There's speed, depth 1, depth 2, and depth 3 for the part LFO. Okay, so that's one of the LFOs, and that one is the one that is syncable to clock, which is pretty cool. But if I go here to element, there's also in here element level LFO. So you can really get to, and I could have that assigned also. So I could say, in fact, here, I'll just assign something to LFO speed. And on this one, I'll assign a part parameter to LFO depth. And we can assign, the point is that you can have multiple parameters assigned to the super knob and control them simultaneously. So,
I also read about something called Super Knob Auto.
Yes, Super Knob Auto. I'll bring up one. I'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
But check this out. See, so you have different LFOs set here. So let's do, you have filter modulation depth, but you can have also different curve types on how it moves. So some of them can be, this one's what's called unipolar, so you can have it bipolar. So a bipolar would be, an example would be pan positioning, where center is here, minus 64 plus 64. So that's a perfect curve for that, for just a standard bipolar curve. But you also have these different ways it can move, trapezoidal. So, and you have different parameters that adjust exactly how that moves in here. So in this case, the depth would go down, and then it would move up, and then it would go down in the course of the turning of the knob. Or I could move it all the way over here, so it's super up here, and then it drops off at the end. A really good example to me of a and I didn't forget your question, of a multiple of a sound that really is an amazing sound that I think will come off really well here, is this one called Turn It On. This one has about 24, I think, different simultaneous parameters, and you hear all these different things happening as you play the sound. So let me start out here with just. Okay, now check out what happens when I turn the super knob here. So there's a whole bunch of parameters that are happening simultaneously. And what I tell people, if you really want to learn how to do super knob, is just take these apart and look at them and see what they're doing. And I usually do it at the part level. And how you do that is you touch a part, hit edit, and now I'm looking at edit part 1. You can see it in the top of the screen here. And then you go to control, this is right here, and control assign. And I'm going to turn this auto select on and just move the super knob. It was already selected here. But you can see part 1, the super knob has operator frequency, feedback, cutoff, operator level. There's something else in here, and volume. That's just on part 1. Part 2, it has, let's see, part 2. Nothing's assigned to part 2 in this one, but there is stuff assigned to part 3, cutoff, chorus, and volume. Volume just assigned to that one. And then cutoff, chorus, resonance. But then there's also common sets that are set at the top of the performance. So there's a lot of ways that you can assign it, but there are tons of articles on YamahaSynth.com that can take you through it, that can really show you how to program the instrument and do stuff with super knob programming. What I wanted to do is go back to your question, super knob auto. Okay, so Super Knob Auto is found under Motion Control, and it says Knob Auto. There are things in here that are called motion sequences, that are just parameter sequences that you can assign to any part. And there's four lanes of, well, I'm getting way too deep in here. Let's just talk about the Super Knob Auto. You have all of these motion sequences at the part level, but you also have this one that will automate the super knob. So what you can do here is I can take something like, we'll just do it with this turn it on sound here.
Roger.
And I'm going to go on here and let's see. We want knob motion sequence on. We'll do just the first sequence here. Then we'll edit the sequence. And this is pretty cool how you edit super. Remember we showed those parts here, those different I can use the controls here to set up my cool super knob auto here, right? So I have something in here that will now play that knob auto, and then I have to make sure the motion sequence is on. And that's it. You can assign it so it will sync to beat as well, which is pretty cool. So it's at 127 right there. See my tempo right here. So if I want to bring that down a bit, or hey, I didn't even show you this. I actually have one of the things that we added in OS version 3.5. You find it here is I have, you see the tempo changing there? That's because I have an FC5 that I've set to my assignable. We added the ability to set tempo using a foot switch now. See it sync into the tempo?
That's really cool.
Slow it down. But there you go. That's knob auto right there. So yeah, I'm telling you, it's really cool. It's a deep thing, but it's also very easy to get around on the front panel. But if you want to go deep, man, Montage definitely does not disappoint in that regard at all. It's a serious synthesizer. What I wanted to show here, let me get to my user live set here, is something else that we added. Now in OS version 3, we added the pattern sequencer. We had a song sequencer before, but you know, we had heard from so many people that they really wanted us to develop a pattern sequencer. So in OS 3, we introduced it. OS 3.5, we made it even better. There's some really cool things that you can do now. So what I want to do here is I'm going to just take a single drum kit here, right? Got it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just hit record. Now, when I hit record, it calls up a brand new pattern, completely blank. So I'm not going to overwrite anything. I can set up recording quantize, which I'll do in this case. Basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to record a drum loop, and I'm going to add maybe 3 different parts without ever dropping out a record. Really cool how this works. So we'll just start playing here. Now, the first thing I want to do is while this is recording, and you can see it here, I'm going to touch the record button and put it into what's called record rehearse mode. So nothing's recording right now. This is great because you can just sit here and find things. I am in record, but I'm not actually dropping into to record any notes. Okay, now I'm good. 4, 3, now I'm in. I missed beat 1, sorry. Let's come around again. Here, record rehearse first thing. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2. Now I'm coming in. Okay, so I have a drum groove, right? Now I'm going to select this part right here. You see where it has a little cross right there? Okay, now I'm in my part 2 category search. I'm just going to look at single parts in this because that's all I want to grab in here. But these bass sounds in here, that's electric bass. In fact, I will grab since we were talking about motif, here's a bass sound from the Motif XF that I particularly like. It's called Vintage JB. So I'll get out of here. I'm in record rehearse. Okay, there's a key right here. record rehearse mode. Go to drop in category search, part 3. Now we'll go to some sort of electric piano sound, keyboard, electric piano, RD touch wah. That sounds pretty cool. So I selected that one. Put my octave switch, hit them both, it resets it. So okay.
While he's jamming out, make sure to tag your friend. 15 minutes left for a chance to win the MT7s.
Still haven't dropped out of record. We need some sort of electric clean guitar. I would pick the distant one, but every time I pick the distant one, it doesn't want to play. It just stands in the corner and looks at me sadly because it's very distant. Okay, so you might hear a little bit of hiccup there because it's pulling in effects. This one definitely has effects in here, so. This one has auto wah. Never dropped out of record. That's a new feature that we added with OS version 3.5. Let me show you something else cool about the sequencer, by the way, that a lot of people don't really realize. One of my favorite things about the sequencer is this thing called play effects. So what play effects are, and I'll set this up real quick. So now you saw that I had already auto quantized everything to the nearest 16th note. So it fixed my bad time and allowed me to play very funkily. I guess that's not a really word, but so what I did was I just turned on. So you're not going to hear any difference because I just turned on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing this sucker. So check this out. I'm going to touch. Let me get a wider angle here, so you can see kind of over here. One thing I love about the montage is I have these buttons over here. To do this on a ModiX, you have the mute button and it brings it up in the screen, so you can do what I'm doing here on that. But it's just kind of cool to be able to hit solo and have dedicated buttons. Okay, so here's my drum part. Now I'll zoom back in here a little bit. That looks pretty clean, right? You can see it. Okay. See where it says swing rate? We'll start that first. So we're going to swing this guy first. Now I'm going to do swing velocity. And with this one, now I touched it twice, so I can just hit 0. So what happens when I brought out swing velocity? All you hear are eighth notes because I took the swung note, which is the 16th note, and got it out. So I'm going to get a little attitude. If I told my drummer, okay, just play eighth notes, right? Now, can you bring it back, but kind of just ghost the back, the swing, the swang? So now I'll bring it up a little bit. See, he's ghosting the back end a little bit. A little attitude, right? Okay, so let's go to the bass. So the bass is still straight, but let's make the bass swing. Now with this one, I particularly like the gate rate of the swung note to be super, maybe not that light, but you hear how the gate rate, just the swung note, is short. Which I really like about a bass player. They kind of, and let's say what you want to do is maybe a little bit more velocity on that back end. Okay, let's go here just to make sure. Swing, right? Still have my guitar in here. I'll swing that one. Okay, we won't need to do that. Let's just bring the whole band back in. Now, a cool thing about this is that what we did was we added the ability to normalize play effects per scene. Why that's cool is I can take that groove that I'm working on and I can copy it into the second scene, which is the second, just copy the entire 4-measure groove I just created here. And I can try out different grooves and see which one I like. So if I want to try a straight time on one of them, I can bounce back between the two and figure out which one I like more. Do I like this one better? Or do I like that one better? You know what I mean? So anyway, there's another cool thing that if you are a Montage or MoDX user and you updated to OS 3, that when you remember, hopefully, that if you use the sequencer, that you were like, man, I wish undo wasn't always on this screen, because that's where it was all the time. You had to go in the second screen. Well, now undo is on every single screen. So if I want to undo it all, I just like the Tibetan sand painters. You ever seen the Tibetan? I just got rid of the sequence. So it's all gone now. But I can always redo it. But you have undo redo on every single screen. So usability, workflow has been greatly improved on the instrument as well.
So I saw a question that came in from, we got 2 questions that have come in. Tyler Jackson asked, how customizable are the time signatures? Can you do odd meters and mixed time signatures within a sequence?
Yeah, man. Yes, you can. That is, by the way, so this is Tyler that asked that?
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, that's a really good question. I like really good questions because I can answer them, hopefully, to make you happy. Okay, so 4/4 right here. Let's say in the section or 2 here, let's say you want to move that into 7/4 for the second. Okay, now we're gonna so now I selected that. So 4/4, 7/4. Let's go to section or scene 3, right? And let's say on that one you're gonna want to move into let's do something crazy. I don't know, because it's got a lot of time signature stuff. We're gonna go to 13/8 just on that one, right? So 13/8, 7/4, 4/4. And then on 4, you get the idea. So you can, you have, I think it's 1/4 to 16/4, and 1/8, and it even go to 16ths. See them all there? Hopefully you can. So yes, Tyler, they're pretty customizable. Odd meters, mixed times. Hopefully that answers your question. Tyler already won. What it's, I see the things coming by here. So
Tyler won previously.
He did.
Dude. He's already won too many times. Tyler, we love you. We got to share love, man. We got to share love.
You know what? No, that is a great question, though, Tyler. I must admit. So
we do have one more question that came in from Peter. When you go from patch to patch, do the current notes continue and the new notes use the new patch?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we have what's called seamless sound switching. Now with these smart morphs, they won't do that because smart morphs use parts 9 through 16. And if there's anything that's sitting in parts 9 through 16, it defeats the seamless sound switching. But the thing about seamless sound switching is that it's really designed for live performers, right? So 8 parts seamless sound switching on Montage. It's 4-part seamless sound switching on the MoDX. But I'll show you how this works here, though. Let me just let's go my presets here. So I have here the CFX plus FMEP. So you're in here, right? So there you go, right? And you're sitting there, and then you move to Seattle sections. Hear what I did? I just changed, right, Peter? Hear it? Still ringing out. Okay. Hear it, Peter? Oh, I just switched again, and I went to something totally different. Anyway, so yes, 8 parts seamless sound switching. and that's quite a lot of stuff. So I think that hopefully that answers your question. Yes. Yes.
I'd say so.
I believe so. Yeah.
And you know what?
I've never done one of these before. This talk show format. I'm always usually just alone in my room talking to myself. But it's cool. It's cool. It was a little like at the beginning, but
Right.
it's cool.
It's live,
Yeah,
you know,
awesome.
keeps you on your toes.
No, I love what you guys are
Keeps it
doing.
moving,
Here,
keeps it grooving.
You know, it does make sense that it's Washington Music doing this, man, because you guys are just like the
what we
coolest
do.
music store.
We try.
I didn't used to travel out east for so long. And then when I started traveling out east, I finally had a chance to come out to the store, and it was great. It was, and I'd never been to DC before too, so it was everybody, all my coworkers would always say the same thing to me. They'd be like, "Yeah, have you been to Washington Music Center?" And I go, "No." You've never been to Washington Music Center? Like, it's like, you've never been to Disneyland? It's like, no, man, I've never been there. He goes, oh, you got to go. What a cool store. So
we try.
Yeah.
We just try. We just try to keep it real, you know, just try to have some fun.
I see you guys at NAMM shows. I see like, and I'm spacing his name.
We got Ed. Ed's the guy that you see probably.
Yes.
We take over NAMM in force. This would have been NAMM week also, by the way, which is pretty cool that we're doing some demos like this, because we would have been in Nashville this week. Summer NAMM would have been vibing and having a good time, eating barbecue and stuff, talking gear. But instead, we're doing it virtually from across the country, which is super cool.
Yes. Yeah. Boy, it's actually been kind of a cool thing for us too, because it's kind of made us get our chops up with doing this kind of stuff a little better. So
yeah.
And I love it. It's fun. It's fun.
And we can reach more people, and we can share the knowledge and do some really cool stuff. Which brings me, I think, to the time where we should probably give away some stuff. We've been in here doing some good stuff. So, you know what? We're going to give away 3 giveaways today. Curveball for you guys watching.
Wow.
The winners are going to be 2 that ask really good questions. Got to give my guy Tyler. Tyler, you're winning something. I got you, man. Tyler, don't you worry. I got you a set of Yamaha headphones coming your way. Next winner also asked a phenomenal question. Peter Churchyard. Super good dude. Peter's like a major synth head in the community around here. Peter, thanks for joining the stream. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the questions, being a part of this with us. So thank you so much. And last one, guys, who tagged up someone that we haven't seen before? Who's a new one to the stream? L. Lambert. Ellis, good to see you on the stream. Thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. All you winners, shoot us an email at live@chucklevins.com. Make sure to hit us up at Chuck Levins on Instagram or at Chuck Levins on Facebook. We will be doing this again soon. Blake, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for diving super deep into the montage.
I know I've learned a lot today.
And I know that we could have gone for hours deeper. We just tipped our toe into this rabbit hole, and I know it goes so much deeper. I know we barely scratched the surface. We'll probably have to do it again too.
Yeah, I would
guys,
love to do it again.
Yeah, would love to. And I know that we probably got to do MODX and some other stuff. I mean, you guys have really been on a tear building out this family of products, and you continue to launch new updates for this stuff, which is amazing. I mean, you can buy a product, and in some worlds you just got to buy the new product to get all these cool updates and to be able to develop all this technology that can. I mean, it's basically AI for your keyboard. I saw someone else make that comment earlier, that you're able to just build stuff into these things that just more happy surprises and more awesomeness comes out of these things. Is really phenomenal. And special thanks to Yamaha for making this happen. And Yamaha is a massively important partner to us. Really tight relationship. It's been that way for decades. In every corner of the store, every corner of the music community. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for doing this with us, and we're looking forward to doing more with you as well. So with that, that's all I got.
Hey, thanks a lot, Adam. I just really appreciate the time that you allowed us to be here. I totally appreciate it. Miles, nice meeting you for the first time here. Second time. I guess we talked earlier, but yeah, it's nice meeting you, man. Maybe I'll get out there when I can travel again.
For sure. I'll be at the store, definitely.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, we'll be back next week for another Chuck Levins Live. Stay tuned for our Facebook or our Instagram for the updates on what we got coming up next week. We've got another cool one, and we're going to keep these rolling. We ain't stopping. We have months of stuff booked out. It's going to be super cool. We're going to touch on every single department, Actually, I know what next week is going to be. Next week we got Theo Wani of Theo Wani Mouthpieces coming onto the stream. It's going to be crazy. It's going to get crazy. So guys, join us next time. Chuck Levin's live Wednesdays, 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.